Is there an email service that doesn't require a phone number? My recommended approach and alternatives. Hi everyone, I'm Leo Notenboom for askleo.com. This is an interesting question that's actually become more important in recent years as some of our common free services have tightened some of their security restrictions. Here's the question. Services like Gmail and Microsoft's Outlook.com seem to require that you have a phone number now. I don't want to give them mine. Is there a service that won't require it? There are many valid reasons that a service will require a phone number, but there are many valid reasons why you might not want to give them one. If you're looking at a service that requires a phone number, well, you're going to be kind of sort of out of luck with that service, maybe. We've got a couple of ways that might get you in anyway. The best approach, though, is to look for a different service that actually doesn't require that phone number. So why a phone number in the first place? Well, the services will tell you, and I tend to believe them, that it's about security. Actually, it's about account recovery. Especially Gmail and Microsoft's Outlook.com, they encounter so many situations of people losing access to their account because they haven't set up recovery information, that they are simply requiring recovery information in the form of a phone number that they can send an SMS text message to when you set up the account. That way, when you lose your password, when you forget your password, or maybe even when your account gets hacked, you'll at least have that level of additional security that will get you back into your account. It really is to your benefit to provide a phone number for these accounts. However, there's another school of thought, generally referred to by conspiracy theorists, that I don't necessarily believe, but I can at least understand. And that is simply that Google and Microsoft, they only want your phone number so that they can track you better. I don't believe it. The reason I don't believe it is because they can track you well enough without it. Really, if you've got a mobile device, somebody's tracking you. I'm pretty much convinced of it, unless you've taken a lot of extra steps to maintain a level of privacy that is simply really difficult to encounter on these devices. Google doesn't need your phone number to track you further. Microsoft doesn't need your phone number to track you further. But there are scenarios. The other scenario, actually, that's I consider to be perhaps the most valid and most underappreciated by the big services. Not everybody has a mobile phone. Not everybody gets SMS messages. Heck, not everybody has a phone, which is very, very interesting. It's a small number of people, but these people are then completely not served by services that then require a phone number of some sort to set up an account. My alternative? ProtonMail. There are many different email services that will give you an email address without a phone number, but I happen to choose ProtonMail. And in fact, I have an account, so I've been through the process. Why ProtonMail? Well, they are a reputable company. They've been around for quite a while, and their reputation actually goes further than just not requiring a phone number. ProtonMail is all about privacy. Let's have a quick look at their homepage and you'll see what I mean. If we scroll down here on their page, you can see they talk about privacy, encryption, and anonymous email. Specifically, ProtonMail is incorporated in Switzerland and all our servers are located in Switzerland. This means all user data is protected by strict Swiss privacy laws. We use end-to-end encryption and zero-access encryption to secure emails. This means even we cannot decrypt and read your emails. As a result, your encrypted emails cannot be shared with third parties. No personal information is required to create your secure email account. By default, we do not keep any IP logs which can be linked to your anonymous email account. Your privacy comes first. Honestly, this is what most people who are concerned about providing a phone number to a service are concerned about. It's more than the phone number. It's about everything. It's about their privacy. It's about their security. And certainly ProtonMail seems to be hitting the nail on the head when they talk about these various aspects. Now, I do want to talk very briefly about the encryption that they talk about. I have articles on just how hard email encryption is, and the reason it's hard is it requires cooperation between both the sender and the recipient. What that means is that the recipient needs to use the same decryption mechanisms, tools, protocols, whatever, that the sender did. Unfortunately, there's no agreement. When it comes to email, there is no standard way to encrypt messages that you might send from one person to another. As a result, you kind of sort of have to shoehorn it in. Now with ProtonMail, if you're sending an encrypted message from one person to another person on ProtonMail, yep, it's encrypted end to end. There really isn't an issue. But if you send an encrypted mail to someone who is not using ProtonMail, you're not really sending email. The way ProtonMail does this is when you create a message, you are then asked for an encryption password. You provide that password and the message is encrypted and stored on ProtonMail's servers. What actually gets sent to the recipient is a message that says, "You've got mail." You've got an encrypted message from someone at ProtonMail. Click this link to view the secure message. When you click that link, when your recipient clicks that link, they are then taken to a web page on the ProtonMail servers that they can then enter the same password to decrypt and view the message. So, like I said, what they're sending in email is not really the email message. They're sending a link to a web page over which ProtonMail retains control and controls all of the encryption. Your job is then to make sure that your recipient simply gets that password or passphrase via some other method. So you might maybe text it to them, phone them, tell them what the code is, whatever. But the point is, they would then have to enter that password in order to be able to view the message as it is displayed on the ProtonMail servers. It's probably the most elegant, or at least the least inelegant solution to sending encrypted mail, since there really is no way to send a common format of encryption between two random email programs or services. Now, there's one thing I really do have to reiterate here and emphasize, and that is simply that, let's say you set up a ProtonMail account, or any account that doesn't require a phone number, or it doesn't require an alternate email address. You have no personally identifiable information, no recovery information, nothing associated with the account other than your ability to log in and send email using it. What happens if you lose your password? What happens if you lose access to that account? The short answer is, you're screwed. You cannot get the email account back if you lose the password. You cannot get the email account back if somebody else manages to hack into it. Without the recovery information, without the ability to prove you are who you say you are, which is normally done via a phone number and a text message, or an email address and another message to that email address, then you have no way to prove you are who you are. You have no way to prove you actually should be given access to that account, even though you've forgotten the password. So the short answer is, think long and hard before deciding not to provide that recovery information. Make absolutely certain that your password is strong and less likely to be hacked. Make absolutely certain that you remember what that password is, that you've got it recorded in your own password vault or some other way. Because if anything ever happens to that account, you're not getting it back. That's how recovery information works. There are other alternatives. I do have one list on the website that I'll point you at that talks about some of the many other email service providers that will allow you to create an email account without a phone number. Some vary in the capabilities that you're given without a phone number. Some may require a phone number eventually if what you're doing starts to look suspiciously like spam. But there are alternatives if, for whatever reason, you're not interested in using ProtonMail. And to be fair, ProtonMail, while it's free, the free tier does have limitations. You can only send so much email. Your inbox is only so big, but for many people, that's plenty when they are looking for this kind of a thing. If you want to use it as your full-time email account, which it is a perfectly valid service to use, then you may want to end up spending a few bucks a month to be able to send more and be able to hold more email in your account. So I mentioned that there was one other way that maybe sort of you could fake your way into Gmail or Hotmail that require a phone number even if you don't have one. I don't recommend this approach because it will leave you with an account that you can't recover, which you'll understand in a minute. What it is there are what I refer to as temporary SMS services. And again, the article on which this video is based will have a link to those. They allow you to use a phone number for a short period of time. You go to this online service, you say, I'd like to use a phone number, please give me a phone number. You provide that phone number when you are setting up your Gmail or your Outlook.com account. An SMS message is sent to confirm your ownership of that number. The service that provided you with this short-term number is able to receive and then tell you what that SMS message is. You give the code then to Gmail or Outlook, and your account is enabled. You've provided a phone number, and you've confirmed that you had access to that phone number. The problem is that once you're done with it, you no longer have access to that phone number. It may still be associated with your account, your Gmail account, your Outlook.com account, or whatever account is requiring a phone number, but you don't have access to it. Well, that's as good as not having a phone number associated with it at all. That means that if you ever lose the password, if that account ever gets hacked, you will not be able to get back in. You will lose the account forever. So please think twice before going down this path because it is an important thing. You would not believe the number of people that come to me because they have forgotten their password. They don't have recovery information. It is just one of those sad, sad scenarios when I have to tell them that I'm sorry, but without that information, your account is lost and gone forever. So please, if you can, provide the recovery information, provide the phone number, provide the alternate email addresses that these services ask for. They ask for a reason, and that reason truly is your protection. If for whatever reason you can't go down that path, ProtonMail is the path I would send you down. And as I said, there are other alternatives that I'll link to in the article. I hope that was helpful. This is an interesting scenario that I think a lot of people don't really think through when they decide what not to give these online services or why the online services are asking for this information. The article that I'm using as the basis for this video is askleo.com/124832. Go there to find related links like those list of other providers, updates, and comments. I'm Leo Notenboom. This is askleo.com. Thanks for watching.